Hello, everyone that's attending the Pankey Institute's virtual symposium. My name is Jen Cullen, and I'm here with Dr. Brian Gray. Although we can't be with you in person, we're really excited to have the opportunity to share some clinical insights around the Tscan technology. So Brian and I compared some notes and came up with some of the top questions and comments that we hear surrounding the Tscan and occlusion. So hopefully this will answer any of the questions that you may have and also help you in your practice as well. So Brian, why don't we jump right in?
Sounds good. I'm going to do just a quick disclaimer, if you don't mind, Jen.
Absolutely.
As I've done since I started teaching 30 years ago, I'd like to make sure people know that I have no stock security or interest in any dental company. I never have. No one in my family does. I love teaching. I love consulting, do a lot of both. I do consult for Tscan. It's free of charge. I've been doing it free for years. I don't get free equipment from them either. But I'm good with that because I truly believe in this, and the stuff I believe in, I just love talking about and helping to push dentistry forward. So I'm excited to be here and have a chance to share some stuff with my Pankey family. I'm excited about this event. I think this is really just kind of one of the best ones going, and the fact that we're able to get together virtually is really fun as well. So let's start in.
Yeah, we appreciate that for sure. So you're an experienced dentist. You've made it a priority to continuously be educated and to educate others. You've been using the Tscan technology in your practice for many years now. You and I have known each other for 15 maybe years. So what do Pankey dentists need to know about the Tscan?
I think that's part of the kind of the mystery that surrounds it is like, what is it? How's it work, et cetera. It's really, really simple. It's a pressure sensor, but it gives you so much information that I just wouldn't have otherwise. I thought, like most of us do, that I was the king of reading dots on teeth. And it wasn't until I actually read an article back in 2007 that really opened my eyes. I first was made of Tscan back in the 90s and visited the booth many times at all the different meetings. I got to know everyone really well with the company. I never bought it. And it wasn't until a friend of mine, Dennis Stiles, actually sat me down in his chair, showed me how it worked, that I understood and overcame the mystery associated with it. But it also was incredibly humbling to me because I thought I knew a lot. And I realized that really all I was doing was trying to read tea leaves when it came to marks on teeth. And if you just look at the basics of this technology and spend just a few minutes understanding it, it'll change your life. I've shared with Jen, and last night I was on a study club meeting and shared with it that by far this is the most important piece of equipment in my office. I felt that way for at least the past 5 years. I can't operate without it. I use it daily. I know this sounds almost a little neurotic, but once you can just take the basics of it, put it together, and understand how teeth are hitting, it changes the game for you. You're going to have patients who intrinsically know that there's something wrong, but can't visualize and understand it. And we'll talk a little bit about that and when we get to the kind of how we educate people with it. But
Yeah.
I just want I want docs to know that by far this is one of the most important things that they could add to their practice.
That's excellent. Tell me a little bit more about the value that it brings to you on a daily basis. So where are the areas that you're using it? How does it help you as a clinician every day?
I probably kind of would see 3 areas of value. One is the precise data that I'm able to get. 2 is the kind of the immediate ability to be able to process and understand that data. And 3 is the educational component, which again, we'll talk about a little bit later. But being able to get that stuff in front of me and look at it right away and understand that what I thought, again, were dots that were telling me stuff were not telling me anything because I was getting just a teeny little historical slice of what was actually really happening. I wasn't getting, with the pressure sensor, I'm truly getting vector forces and I'm getting true physics knowledge out of this. I'm able to look at how much force a tooth is hitting, when it hits, and in essence, the size of where it is per tooth around the arch. And we think that we can, again, look at the the ribbon spots or AccuFoam foil, whatever you're using, look at it on teeth and think that we are able to discern this, and we can't. And I can kind of simply walk through that with docs in about 10-15 minutes, but I need to walk through it with patients a lot quicker, and being able to show them that, I think, is probably one of the key things. So I'm actually
Yeah.
going to jump right into the
Yeah, I
education
think
you're
I think
talking
that
about.
it's an issue. I mean, we've heard, that the communication piece to patients is really a challenge when it comes to occlusal issues. And so, yeah, if you can talk through that, that'd be great.
Yeah, it's showing them dots on their teeth you can't do, and having them give you some input on, how's your bite feel? Is like, man, that is so last century. Just not acceptable at all. How does your bite feel type of thing. I definitely take that into account, but it's like having someone tell you where a denture sore spot is when they've had the denture out for 2 or 3 days. They point and they're nowhere near. You've all seen this. They point to a spot. They're nowhere near where the spot actually is. You can still see the scar where it was, where it was sore or whatever. Same thing with occlusion. To expect someone to be able to dial in on what's hitting first or harder, it's just so difficult. So I love the information I get, and then it's easy for me to share that with patients because I just can either turn the screen right in front of them, or we've got a second screen right there. So in most of our ops, I can just show them where the teeth are hitting, how hard, when, and why, and it helps them to understand better about making things balanced and symmetrical, because that's what our body really wants to be, especially our jaw. It needs to be symmetrical. It also helps to explain a lot of the things that we see oftentimes with patients who have these issues that have developed into something more severe, into the TMD issues that we see all the time. I've got pain here. This hurts here. This hurts. I've got a space that constantly is open between my two back upper teeth. And I'm like, oh yeah, well here's why. Look at this. When you slide sideways, when you go into excursive, you're hitting on this back tooth so much that it's pushed it backwards. Your working interference has pushed it back. I don't have to use the technical terms. They can look at it and they can see the skyscrapers on this three-dimensional image, which gives me so much valuable information on how I can fix that for the patient. So just time and again, we get tremendous amount of data from it. And to the point where now every single patient gets a T-scan on their initial visit. It's just part of our comprehensive plan. We do a digital scan, we do photos, we do everything. And a T-scan is the standard of care for me for occlusion to get started.
Well, it makes me so happy to hear you say that. Okay, you're speaking directly to Pankey dentists that are attending the symposium. We've got a limited amount of time here, but just quickly, what advice would you give to other Pankey dentists about the Tscan technology?
Well, I guess first I would say don't do what I did, which was to sit around for 15 years. Jen actually was a rep with Tscan. She left the company and came back, I think, right when I was.
I'm pretty passionate about it too, so this is good. We're in the same boat. All right.
Yeah, she had disappeared for a few years and came back, and I think she came back because I finally gave in and bought it. And once I did, I was like, oh my God, why did I wait so long? How could I have not had this as part of my practice? It's a little bit of a learning curve, just like everything is, just like all the digital stuff. But man, this is like an old-fashioned microwave. It's just got 3 buttons and a dial. I mean, it is not difficult to be able to incorporate it in your practice and to use it. And when you do, it will change the way you practice. And just my bites are balanced. I solve more migraine headaches with patients than I've ever could have possibly imagined. But probably the biggest thing for me is that, I've been doing Invisalign now for over 2 decades and teaching it for over 2 decades. And I had done ortho fixed prior to that, but I never had the ability to see that my bites were balanced and perfectly even when I was done. And Tscan gives me that. I use it before, during, and after throughout my process when we do Invisalign. And I can tell you, man, I'm so looking forward to the next summit with Invisalign, because I've got a lecture that's put together with 20-year-old cases that I've got pictures from 20 years ago and from last month that I can show how the teeth have stayed exactly the way we wanted them to. because one, the patient wore the retainer, but more importantly, because I had the bite balanced when they were all done. So I just
That's
think that
awesome.
take a look at this, incorporate it into your practice, but please, please, just first take a look at it. And if you cannot get to a meeting to look at it, get one of the reps from Tscan into your office, or please call me or call my partner Luke, who's also our young gun here at the practice, who just totally embraced this. But find someone who's using it, sit down and just learn the basics of it. It'll change your life. It's, again, one of the best
That's
things
awesome.
going. I say that without receiving any penny
I
from
know. I
from
know.
anyone, but absolutely love it. And I love my Pankey family, and I just want to share what I think has been something to change my life.
That's great. That's great. Well, thank you so much. We know we have a limited amount of time today, and so really always a pleasure speaking with you and getting your insight on this stuff. And for those of you in the audience that are looking to learn more, please contact us at info@tekscan.com. And we also just want to say thank you to the Pankey Institute for their continued support and our partnership with them. So thanks so much, Dr. Gray, and I hope you all have a great rest of your meeting.
Thank you. Go Pankey.